Back here on HQ Spotlight, let's rewind back to 2024, and we're looking at that quarterback draft class. 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Of course, Caleb Williams taken first overall, making a pretty deep run in the playoffs so far this year with the Chicago Bears. Jayden Daniels has made it to an NFC Championship game since then with the Commanders. Drake Maye, who was taken 3rd overall, is going to be playing in the Super Bowl this year on Sunday. So here's more from Drake Maye today ahead of the Super Bowl, his first Super Bowl, of course.
The number one thing right now is we came out here for a reason, and we came out here to win the football game and win the Super Bowl, and knowing that all my chips are going towards that, and knowing that that's the most important thing right now, and what I'm doing in life, and being out here in a new state and a new city, and just trying to find my rhythm and find a kind of plan to try to execute and treat things the same as we're going throughout the week and preparing for a game on Sunday.
Pretty matter of fact for a younger guy. Renner and JP Acosta back with us here as we reflect on that quarterback draft class from 2024. Drake Maye taking number 3 overall, now starting the quarterback here in 2026. So JP, when Drake Maye was drafted, 2 years ago, did you think just 2 years later the Patriots would be in the Super Bowl with Drake Maye as the starting quarterback?
So I actually had Drake Maye as my sort of QB1A from that draft class, but I didn't think he would get the Patriots to the Super Bowl immediately in year 2. I thought that this team was going to sort of be a competitive team, but not a Super Bowl caliber team heading into this year. But I do think what's been paramount to all this is Drake Maye's growth as a passer. Like we've talked about before, he's one of the best deep ball passers in the NFL this season. I think he is having a historic season when it comes to completion percentage and average depth of target. No other quarterback has thrown as far as he has downfield while also maintaining a blistering completion percentage and a blistering yards completed before completion percentage over expectation. So I think what Drake Maye has done in his second year, and the things that he's done even without having the superstar receiver, superstar offensive line, and sort of just not to say carrying this Patriots team, because I don't think that gives the Patriots enough credit, but I do think this offense is built on what Maye does best. So getting them to the Super Bowl in this second year is really impressive.
Yeah, I didn't expect this. You never expect a guy to be this good this early, potential MVP in year 2, because it rarely happens. But I did tell anyone who wanted to hear back in 2024 that this was an insanely good quarterback class. That, yeah, the Giants might want to trade up from 6 to 3, but you ain't going to be able to in this class. It is too good. We've seen it bear out. Those top 3 guys, Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, Drake Maye, were insanely good prospects at the time, have borne it out in the NFL. And it just goes to show you, when you look at this year's quarterback class, last year's quarterback class, that it's not an even distribution. You look historically, it's like 2004 class, you get the 1983 class. Quarterbacks don't distribute out every single year. There's not necessarily a guy waiting for you. So when there is, you pounce. Gladly, the Patriots did that year.
Yeah, and 1 and 2, those guys, I feel like we compare, and they've been connected ever since they were both drafted, right? And I want to talk about Caleb Williams first, taken by the Bears, where, Renner, the future looks really, really bright. They were the 2 seed in the NFC, have a close matchup in the divisional round, and in this Ben Johnson era with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, the crazy thing is watching him 2 years into his career, how much room there still is for development. I mean, you saw incredible development from year 1 to year 2 in his sack avoidance. Went from one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL to one of the least. And I think the biggest room is just still with his accuracy, which was not really a weakness coming out of USC. You see there 58.1 completion percentage. A lot of that is because he attacked downfield more than anyone else in the NFL. A lot of that's because he learned to throw the ball away more. But I still think there's a lot of missed opportunities on the field that I trust Caleb to fix. The guy's been a hard worker. This has been his goal ever since he was 10 years old. He put a plan in place to get himself to the NFL. I think given the improvements you saw year 1 to year 2, I expect another big leap from year 2 to year 3. So that he's already, in the mix in the divisional round in the NFC year 2, I think the sky is the limit for this guy.
The coolest thing about Caleb Williams is the fact that his sack avoidance and the superpower that he had outside the pocket at USC has continued to translate at the NFL level in Chicago. Some of the stuff that he does outside the pocket, the wicked arm strength, the rotation he's able to get, and just the pure force that he can throw the ball with for a guy that's not exactly like 6'5", 250 pounds, that's really impressive for someone who was the #1 pick coming out. We sort of expected to see this, and that constant growth, like Mike said, and just the completion percentage. It didn't look great this year, but I do think he grew a lot in throwing the ball away. That's sort of why the completion percentage looked the way it did. But in Ben Johnson's offense, with that receiving core around him, I just think the sky is the limit for him, and he's going to continue to grow into what could be a very, very good quarterback by year 3.
So Jayden Daniels taken #2 overall, and a phenomenal rookie season. You know, he gets to the NFC Championship game, and then obviously can't really compare it much dealing with all the injuries in year 2. But Mike, what are your expectations for Jayden Daniels here? Is there, coming off, of course, a disappointing season in terms of results and injuries there with the Commanders?
Yeah, I think my expectation is anytime he's on the football field and healthy, he's an elite quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he just is. The guy's accuracy, the guy's mobility, they are special traits amongst NFL quarterbacks. You just got to keep him healthy, though. And that's why he was, to me, a clear tier behind Caleb Williams and Drake Maye coming out, was because you look at the guy and he is a string bean. He is the skinniest probably quarterback in the NFL right now. And unlike Lamar Jackson, who's skinny himself, he does not have the same sort of hit avoidance, risk tolerance when it comes out to taking hits in the open field. He took a lot at LSU, and he's taken a lot now through 2 years at Washington. So stay healthy, keep him upright. Jayden Daniels will be an elite quarterback.
Yeah, Jayden Daniels missing 10 games in 2025 because of injuries. Making our way down the board, #8 overall, that is Michael Penix Jr., which was shocking at the time because Kirk Cousins had just signed this huge deal with the Falcons, and even Kirk Cousins himself seemed a little surprised that they took Michael Penix. But JP, how do you feel now, 2 years removed, for the Falcons' current quarterback situation?
I feel like the same way that I felt after they draft Michael Penix Jr., which is a lot more questions right now than answers. And with Michael Penix Jr., you can see the talent and the arm strength and the velocity outside the numbers. And I think that's sort of what you can build this offense around if Michael Penix Jr. is your quarterback. But he still left a lot on the table when it came to passing over the middle of the field. That's why the Falcons' offense wasn't super efficient this year. It sort of fell off during the middle of the year. And he also just had another major knee injury. And that's a really scary thing for a quarterback coming out of college who had multiple major scary knee injuries. And you have a QB room now of Michael Penix Jr., who is still recovering from that ACL injury, Kirk Cousins, who is on the older side now, and you just sort of left with a lot more questions about the Falcons QB room than answers right now, and that's not a great place you want to be if you're a Falcons fan.
All right, let's go to #10 overall. We talked about Sam Darnold in the last block, and now we're talking about J.J. McCarthy, the guy who stepped in for Sam Darnold once he, was shipped out from Minnesota there. Renner, would you still draft J.J. McCarthy at #10 at this point if you had time to reflect and kind of look back?
I would not, unfortunately. I wouldn't have done it then. I thought there were big holes in his prospect profile. And unfortunately, I think the biggest selling point of McCarthy was his work ethic. The fact that he was a leader of men all throughout, even whether it's at high school to college, he was a winner, national championship there at Michigan. But the weaknesses were he had a lot to improve upon. He did not throw well with touch. He overstrided a lot on tape, causing accuracy issues, and had just a risk tolerance in the pocket that I didn't love. Took a lot of hits. And you've seen all those things continue on through the NFL and not really improve whatsoever. You still see big accuracy issues. You still see those problems with touch. And obviously, you've still seen those issues with injury here with J.J. McCarthy. So for all those reasons, I think by far you're the most worried about J.J. McCarthy of any of those first-round quarterbacks that year.
All right, and finally, want to get to Bo Nix, who was taken 12 overall by the Broncos, leads the Broncos to the AFC Championship, but could not play in said game because of an injury. And it just feels like there's so much unfinished business for Bo Nix and the Broncos, JP, that lies ahead.
It really does. And I think for Bo Nix this season, there was a lot of growth. I think Sean Payton sort of took the leash off him a little bit in the second half of the season, especially as the run game faltered without J.K. Dobbins. And I think you saw Bo Nix grow a lot in those obvious passing situations. And the best part about having Bo Nix is that there's still room to grow. This Broncos team made it to the AFC Championship game while their quarterback is still not a finished product. He came out as an older prospect, threw a lot of passes at the NFL level. But I do think with that core of Sean Payton around him, with the offensive line still remaining intact, I do think Bo Nix can still reach that potential that he was supposed to have coming out of high school and what he showed at Auburn. So I do think there's still some room to grow, especially when it comes to playing more under center, doing a lot more when it comes to just accuracy downfield. And I think there's just some more aggression that can be unlocked from that offense with Bo Nix at the helm. But the fact that he's doing this at this level really early is really impressive.
Yeah, and I think with Bo Nix and Jayden Daniels, part of the reason I was so high on both was you saw career progression and transformation in college. That speaks to their work ethic. These guys love it. They live it. They're continually going to get better, and that's what you need to have at the quarterback position in the NFL, and we're seeing that with Bo Nix.
Mike, JP, we certainly appreciate it. Playing a nice game of Upon Further Review as we're taking a look back at different quarterback draft classes. 2024, not that long ago. We still have some more reflection to do in the years ahead. You can hear the guys on Pushing the Pile. You can watch the latest episode right now by scanning that QR code on your screen.